Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of the No ID podcast. I have here wonderful young man. Here is a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's also the CEO and founder of Original Thinkings and the CEO and founder of Our Story, Our History. I have no other person here than the one and only Brother Aiden.
Yes, sir. Peace. Peace be upon you all.
Thank you, man. So I want to go ahead and get started, right? So you follow Minister Farrakhan and you follow the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. How did you get into the Nation of Islam? How did that journey start?
Well, I'm actually processing as we start, so I haven't really officially wrote my letter and I haven't officially received my X yet. But I heard the teachings for the first time around sophomore year, the end of sophomore year. And originally, I was actually an all F student, and I was actually ready to drop out of high school, and I wanted to pursue an entertainment career. You know, most Negroes, I wanted to leave school and I really wanted to do something with entertainment. And I didn't really care about nothing that had to do with anything serious or anything that had to do with knowledge. And it was one day, it was a day I skipped school and I heard a Malcolm X tape. And I grew up in a very suburban household and a very, I was the Caucasian neighborhood. So I never knew anything about Black history. So believe it or not, it was my first time even hearing the name Malcolm X. And I heard this one speech. He was just going off. I never heard a Black man talk like that besides rappers, something that was ignorant. So it really, made me research more of him. And I started researching more Malcolm X and I read his biography. And originally, since I studied the student, I said, I want to study his teacher. Once I studied his teacher, I'm where I am today. And now I'm running an account called Original Thinkings. And our aim is to make a complex news genius. And we're trying to make it, palatable to more young people. And we're trying to make them 60-second clips, because a lot of people our age, you're not going to watch a 2-hour lecture. So we like to make it 1 minute long. You can watch it before school. You can get your motivation like I did, because I saw a clip. So that's why I own Original Thinkings and Our Story Over His Story, because it was a clip. It was a short clip that changed my life forever. Turned me to an all-F student into someone that's hopefully going to be able to change the world one day.
Definitely. And, I too grew up in a suburban neighborhood. We talked about Black history, and I remember being younger, I don't know, probably like a teenager, I watched Malcolm X, the movie with Denzel Washington, and I didn't understand it. Then I go to college and I watch it again with a clear, open mind. And I went on and saw a lot of speeches about Malcolm X, got to study the man. I have his biography as well. I got into studying Minister Farrakhan because my uncle wasn't Muslim, but he was always preaching about the nation, and I gravitated more towards it. I'm still learning, processing as well. So I was reaching out to you because I wanted to get a little bit more insight as well too, and I wanted the listeners to also get insight and jewels. And I want to also give you your flowers for what you're actually doing. You are changing the world. You're creating those 60-minute positive clips, because the reason I created No ID is I feel like we need to showcase more Black content. But I must admit, I do have a variety of guests up here from anybody, but there's no judgment on this podcast. So what you're doing with our thinkings, doing with our stories, I commend you on that.
I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
So Our Story, Our History, that's a brand, that's a clothing company, right?
Yeah, Our Story Over His Story.
Our Story Over His Story. How did you come up with the name, and how did you come up with the designs of everything?
It was actually Brother 19 Keys. he said something. He said, we don't study his story, we study our story. So what I did was I put that on a shirt, and I was playing with a couple of designs. I actually, you know how you see the graphic tees of, we see like Nas on a shirt, Pulp Fiction on a shirt. I never seen a shirt with, real Black leaders, with substance. So I wanted to do something, and, not to knock most conscious brands. Most conscious brands don't make designs, that young people would really wear, on a regular basis. So I wanted to create something that was like a supreme, but it was supreme in wisdom, not just supreme in skateboarding. So that's how I came up with our story over his story. And it was actually something short that I was playing around with, and I'm still playing around with. We had one design, the shirt that you see on the profile on Instagram. I only put it out for about 2 weeks, and there's going to be new designs soon. So stay tuned. Stay tuned on that. Anybody interested in fashion and some conscious clothing brands, or just anything that that you want to rock that's Black owned, it's our story over his story, or our story underscore his story, or our story on Instagram. There's also original clothing on Teespring. A little plug out there.
19 Keys, I've actually, before the pandemic happened, I ordered a crown from them. And it had the stars and the moon up there. I have it, but I don't want to get off the camera and show it right now. But can you tell me what does the stars and the moon symbolize?
It's actually, as my understanding, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has actually a small book. I wouldn't even call it, it's like a booklet, and it's called the Flag of Islam. So what you see on the crown of 19 keys, and what you actually see on I don't know if you've seen the flag of the Nation of Islam, you see the same, moon and star. The moon and star is a universal symbol, for Islam, and it has a lot of meaning. The red, which is in the background, it symbolizes the sun. The stars, the stars symbolizes, the stars justify the existence of the sun. And while the sun stands for freedom because it shines freely upon all. So the sun is freedom, justice, and equality. The sun is freedom, the star is justice, and the moon is equality. So why is the moon equality? The moon is equality because the moon equalizes the tides of the water. And without the moon, the water, the tides wouldn't be equalized, which means the crops, which means we couldn't live without the moon. And as we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, without the moon, because the moon used to be part of the earth at one point. It used to be part of so the moon gravitates to the earth on the dark side of it, which equalizes the waters. Now the star, there's many stars in the sky. I'm gonna try and make this short because I can go all day on this. The star justifies the existence of the sun because the sun is also a star. And of course, the sun represents freedom because it shines freely upon us all. And without the sun, me and you couldn't do this interview right now. So it really stands for freedom, justice, and equality, if I can sum it up.
Okay. I do want to show you something from my personal research that I'm actually doing. For all the fans, for all the listeners out there, I've been doing research for years, and I mean years, picking up whatever book I can find, watching whatever documentary I can get my hands onto. So I just got this book. I bought it from a bookstore. Malcolm X, as they knew. I bought this a couple of years ago, and I have to reread it to get a better understanding. Because why am I 5%ers? 5%er, excuse me. And this is the crown with the flag that I actually bought. Mm-hmm. I am learning a lot about the nation. I grew up in a Christian household, Christian Baptist household as well. And I will always see the brothers out there with the unity and the discipline and the knowledge of self. And it really touched me. And that's why I reached out to you again, because I commend everything that you're doing and the message that you're not trying to spread, that you are spreading. So I don't know how old you are, sir, but I know from the looks
18 years young.
18 years?
18 years young.
And see, I'm 32 and I'm learning a lot from you just based off of what I've done my research on.
Appreciate
it. What is the message that what's the message that you're trying to convey out there to those that actually go onto your page, your 3 pages, or they look up your name?
That's actually a very good question. The message I'm trying to convey to the people out there is I'm trying to make a positive image to young Black boys and young Black girls out there that are lost, like many of us, like I was. And I'm trying to give them a thorough knowledge of self, but not through conditioning and not through throwing it into their face, but I'm trying to subtly do it. And that's why in Original Thinkings, we post the baby, we post Lil Baby, we post people that are Christian, we post people that are Buddhist, we post entertainers like Taraji, because we're not trying to push it on you. We're trying to show you it's a lifestyle. You know, it's a lifestyle. You don't have to wear a dashiki necessarily to be conscious. You just got to be yourself. Once you get a knowledge of self, it doesn't matter whether you're a Muslim. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian. It just matters whether or not you're righteous. And what I'm trying to do for my people, with my youth, is I'm trying to give them a thorough knowledge of self so we can do for self. And we won't be relying on the enemy like the generations to come. I watch a lot of the older lectures of Farrakhan and Malcolm X. And of course, we all get power and empowerment from it. But sometimes I get angry because I see people from the 70s and 80s getting the same message. And I'm like, what was that generation doing? So I put it upon myself so that way my son doesn't say, what is this generation doing? Why didn't that generation stand up and share this knowledge when they had the opportunity to do so? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share this knowledge, because as the Holy Quran teaches, concealing knowledge is a sin. When you conceal knowledge, once you know it. So what I'm trying to do right there is I'm trying to blossom young Black men and young Black women to, one day they going on World Star, they're going on their Explore page and they looking for a twerk video or something ignorant, or they go on TikTok scrolling through looking for something ignorant, and they accidentally come across my profile, and it just changes the paradigm of their mind. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to shift the paradigm, as 19 Keys in them say, trying to shift the paradigm of your brain, and I'm trying to put them back into the nature of themselves. By nature, we are righteous. By nature, we are strong-willed and strong-minded. It's not something that you got to convert to. It's really you're reverting. We was Caucasianized into America to become what we are. But really, I asked a lot of Black people, what's your name? And they'll tell me, John Brown. Your name is not John Brown. Brown is not your name. Someone stole our name. Someone stole our identity. Someone stole our culture. How come we have to study Black history? Shouldn't our mothers have taught us that from the womb? Why we gotta study Black history? Why we gotta get books on it? The Asian doesn't have to do that. The Indian doesn't have to do that. Surely the Caucasian doesn't have to do that. So why do we have to study Black history? Why do we gotta get college degrees in it when we should already know, the basics of our history? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to restore that to a lot of Black men and women, because I surely did not know, about a year and a half ago, and I didn't know anything about myself. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to give our people a knowledge of self, and we try to put them back into their knowledge, their nature, their innate nature. By nature, you're not supposed to be blind, deaf, and dumb. By nature, you're supposed to be a God. Brother, you're a god. You're not a nigga, you're a god. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get rid of the niggas and the bitches, excuse my language, but we're trying to get rid of those. And we're trying to get gods and goddesses on Instagram. We're trying to use our page in a positive way, while other people are using it for an ignorant way. And as the scripture says, the righteous shall prosper, the wicked. So that's what we're trying to do.
Definitely. When it comes to like social media, even when I'm in comedy, recently I just decided to go clean. I used to cuss a lot in my stand-up, but I don't anymore. I went clean because the message can still be delivered and be entertaining without being clean. I don't know where I'm going at with this one, but I just got social media probably like 3 years ago. To the listeners out there, Facebook 3 years ago, Instagram 3 years ago, I just Twitter a year ago. And the media portrays us in such a negative light. I get tired of seeing us fighting, the shootouts, us getting arrested, us fighting each other, per se. It's what they want us to do, and especially on our explore page.
Exactly. And what's crazy is they're actually kicking us. I have had so many flags on my profile. On TikTok, I'm actually banned from the TikTok Creator Fund. I'm not allowed to make any monetary money. On YouTube, I'm not allowed to make any money. On Instagram, I'm not allowed to make any money. And on both accounts, they said one more strike and they're going to delete both Original Thinkers and Brother Aiden if I don't stop posting what I'm posting. And it's crazy because we see things like the silhouette challenge. We see people throwing it back, throwing it forwards. Why is it not hate speech when we call each other niggas and we call each other bitches? But why is it hate speech when I say the black man is God? Why is it hate speech? Why isn't it hate speech when the rappers talk about getting drunk and smoking weed? But it's hate speech when I say something about the vaccine. So you see something here, it's not slick anymore. They said they're tricking. Malcolm X says we've been tricked and bamboozled. We're not being tricked and bamboozled. It's clear. It's clear what the agenda is. The agenda is to keep us ignorant. It's not to make us grow into a knowledge of self. Because once we grow into a knowledge of self, brother, your sister and my other brothers out there, once we get a knowledge of self, it ruins the slave master to slave relationship. So what they're trying to do here is they're trying to keep us docile, and they want us to keep doing. They want us to keep twerking and throwing it back. They want us to have hot girl summers because they don't want us to have powerful summers where we grow into gods and goddesses. And that's the clear agenda that you see out here, brother, on these waves.
Yeah, definitely. You see that negative wave, man. You get sick of that mess, man. Mm-hmm. Like that was like the reason why I used to support Worldstar Hip Hop. Then one day I just got tired of it. I got tired of seeing us yelling World starting to fight, and it's the negative images. I got tired of seeing. Right now, I'm getting tired of seeing the so-called Karens. Have I been blocked and reported on Instagram and Facebook? Plenty of times. Mm-hmm. I know Minister Farrakhan has as well. Like I think he's not allowing any social media or anything. They deleted his page probably 6 times. I think he was on the 6th try. Mm-hmm. I honestly think as the Black community, we definitely need to take our resources and create our own social media, our own Instagrams, our own Twitters, our own TikToks. Because to be honest with you, if you break it down, we create the wave.
Exactly.
We have the most power when it comes to the finances. I worked in the bank before. I worked in finance before. They refer to us as liquid money. We can put all our money into a pot and actually communicate and bond with each other a lot more. If we put our resources together, this will be ours.
Exactly. And actually, to be specific, Black people have over $1 trillion in spending power, and we spend 30 billion of it on tobacco. According to the census report, we spend over 30 billion on leisure time, which means video games, which means chilling and relaxing, which means getting lit. So if we can spend 30 billion on nothing, why can't we spend 30 billion on making us a Black network? Since we make the trends, we make the dances, We make all the things that get popular. We the ones that make World Star that. If you took Black people off of social media, where would the entertainment be? You know, it would just be Karen. Who gave them the name Karens? It would just be, it would be State Farm commercials. That's what it would be. So we make the waves. Why don't we just own it? Why can't we own? Why we always got to have a slave master making us tap dance? Why can't we own our own talent? You know, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do with Original Thinkings. Of course, eventually I want to make my own social media platform. And inshallah, we will be able to do it. And of course, I won't be able to do it alone. We need to get more brothers like you, and we need to get some more brothers that we once we unite, it doesn't matter whether we're Christian, it doesn't matter, like I said, whether we're Muslim. As long as we unite, then we're just brothers, you know? You don't come into the womb a Christian, you know, you just come into the womb a servant of God, and we all have something to contribute if we just put our dollars and dimes together. But first, we're gonna need some sense, because without that sense, we're not gonna be able to do much.
We're not. We're not. And you know what? When you're ready to do that, all jokes aside, I'm down for the cause. You feel me? So just you got my information. I'll slide you my number. Whatever, we can communicate about it. But I'm definitely for the cause of creating our own stuff.
And another thing, we need to do it more professionally. We don't need to make a Black Power. We don't need to make a Blacksagram. We just need to make something that's neutral. You're not saying that we can't promote majority of Black things on it and we can't be conscious with it. But we need to make a name where they don't find out it's Black owned unless they really deeply research. They don't call, it's not Whitesagram, it's not white chat, Snapchat. We need to make something that's more neutral. We need to be more blatant. We need to be more concealed with the way we make our platforms, you know? And I feel like we can do it. We can put our resources together. We don't need to rush and do it. We can make something professional and concise, so our people can come on there and they can really, you know, it's kind of edutainment, not entertainment. We can get some edutainment from it, because there's nothing wrong with being entertained. You know, it's just wrong when this is agenda beside it to make us all portrayed as ignorant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they do. Like, the more going back to the music, when you was talking about the baby, little baby, the conscious rappers don't get the playtime. They don't. And it's one of the most conscious rappers that's real popular now is J. Cole. And I think he follows, he was following the Honorable Minister Farrakhan before they actually deleted the Twitter page. But he had a lot of Minister Farrakhan speeches in a lot of his skits. Lupe Fiasco did, Fashawn did, Common did. And that's like what I was saying, like I just think that we just got to be portrayed better in the media. I don't think I know honestly we have to do. And like you said, we don't need to create a Black Twitter or a Black Instagram or a Black Facebook. We just got to create something that's ours, that's neutral. We don't need to put the word Black in front of it. It's already Black owned. We know what it is.
Exactly.
Just progress on to
it. Exactly. And you see Farrakhan with a lot of rappers, and it's not in the media. You see him with Rick Ross. Michael Jackson actually was one of the biggest donors in the Million Man March. There's pictures of him, with Migos, with Marvin Gaye, Taraji, Ice Cube. I don't know if you ever heard Lethal Injection album when Ice Cube, Master Farad Muhammad. So he's been in the community for years and years and years. And why a lot of Black people don't gravitate to him is because of how bad he's portrayed in the media. But if you watch the interviews, and if you truly not just Google search him, but if you truly listen to his interviews and his lectures, you will see the truth. You will see he's not an anti-Semite. You will see he's not a racist. When have you ever seen a speech of Farrakhan saying, I want all my followers to kill all the whites out there. I want all my followers to put them in concentration camps. You don't see that. You really don't see that. You see Trump, back when Trump was president, he was saying the craziest things, but they didn't really censor him like that. No one has been censored like they censored Farrakhan. And my question is, why they censor Farrakhan so much when there's so much ignorance online that should be censored? So I get really confused. But then again, once you know what his enemy is, and once you know the nature of him, you really don't get concerned with it. You really just want to do for self. And that, like you said, we just need to create our own. We don't need to beg anyone to portray us better. We just need to portray ourselves better, in real life and on the screen, because, me and you can sit here and say we need to be portrayed better. But be honest, in real life, we need to portray ourselves better too, because in real life, we do portray ourselves in a negative light. I see a lot of, and it's due to lack of knowledge of self. We need to really work on ourselves in real life, and then we can work on ourselves on the screen and in the movies. Yes, sir. Make it true.
Yeah.
Realistic.
Realistic. A lot is definitely true. I'm learning. I am really learning. I've cut out drinking. I don't smoke. I definitely don't drink anymore because I never found out the cause of why do I want to pay $50 for a bottle of something that I might have to end up buying a $10 juice just to cut it so it can actually go smooth when the alcohol is just bad for you entire. It's just going to create even more problems. And I've seen a lot of people now going on high blood pressure medicine because at the age of 27, 28, because they couldn't give up the drinking. And that's an image to portray. I just want to say, most of these rappers that you see out here that are drinking and smoking, it's not real alcohol. They're getting sponsorships. They probably got some water in there, some apple juice or something. And you see it just like that. I just find it amazing how much the media portrays us in a negative light. And you're right, they do portray Minister Farrakhan in a negative light. They tried to portray Malcolm X in a negative light.
Martin Luther King.
All
of them. Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey. I can go down the list. I can keep going and going and going again. And it's because they don't, like J. Edgar Hoover said, he said the number one thing he was trying to prevent was Black unity. And he wanted to stop of a Black Messiah. Why did he use the word Messiah? Why didn't he use the word leader? Because as we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there is a Messiah in our midst to raise us from the dead. And I believe, and his followers believe, that that's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Because who else is out here resurrecting our people the way it is right now? Who else do you see in the streets helping our brothers in the streets? No disrespect to the Christian church, but be honest, do you see a lot of the Christian churches out there doing what the Nation of Islam is, hitting the streets hard, talking to our people? Of course, there's preachers out there really helping our people, but on the massive scale, they're not really doing it the way the Nation of Islam is doing it. You don't really see the online presence of the Black church the way you see the brothers in the nation. And am I saying one is better than the other? No, what I'm trying to tell the Black church is they need to be on the same waves, speaking out on the same positivity, no matter if it's Christian, no matter if it's Muslim, on the same airways. We all need to be out here united together, and they can't censor all of us. They will have to kick us off on all the platforms, and they're not going to do it because we're going to eventually build our own. So what we need to do is we just need to unite, and that's my goal with Brother Aiden. I'm trying to get all these people in different walks of life, even if you're not Muslim. I'm trying to get them on a positive path, following truth. Because I'm not concerned whether you read the Quran or Bible. I'm just concerned whether you follow the truth, because the truth is what prevails. Jesus said, the truth shall set you free. And people say that they're free, but when they haven't reached the truth yet. So my goal is to give people the truth. Edutainment.
Edutainment. I like that word.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, and like I wanted to be a comedian, believe it or not. I know I come off very serious. When I was younger, I wanted to be. I was voted class clown in middle school and everything. That's why I wanted to drop out of school for. I wanted to be entertainment. I seen all the stand-ups from Eddie Murphy to Kevin Hart. And I wanted to be just like them. And just like you, I used to curse up a storm and everything. I was really young doing it. So, but once I got that knowledge of self, it really didn't really make me want to use the words. And I'm not gonna come off here like I'm perfect. Sometimes we all fire off sometimes, but
sure do.
I'm not out here calling women the B word, and I'm definitely not calling my brothers a nigga. Leonard, I used to use that word all the time. Man, my friends used to be like, "Dang, you be cursing so much, Aiden," and it's crazy now just looking at me. You wouldn't think that, but I used to be. Yeah, I used to be in the streets. What's up, my nigga? I used to talk like that, but once I got knowledge of self, I didn't want to talk like that anymore because I realized what I am, and I'm not that. You're not that.
No, we're not. I stopped using the N word when I heard a song by Big Crit, and the song was called "A Nigga." It had the dots in there, acronyms, and it stood for a naive individual glorifying greed and encouraging racism. And if you ever look the song up, I believe it was on one of his mixtapes. Just look it up. A naive individual glorifying greed and encouraging racism. And it stuck out to me. And he said in the song, "I don't want to be another nigga." And he broke down how the word was created, the origins. And what kills me is when a lot of us say, "Well, I didn't say ER, I didn't have the R on it, it had the A." No matter how you spell it, how you flip it, it still has the same meaning, still has the same origin. Study your words, have a knowledge of self. But see, being a comedian, if you ever decide to do it, I mean, you got Ali Sadiq out there, and he's on my top 5. And he can definitely drop some knowledge of self on his sets. I've watched all his stuff. Well, I am going to ask this. I asked everybody up here these following questions. These last 3 questions will wrap up the interview. And like I said, you don't have to answer them. You don't want to answer them. Your top 5 comedians.
Top 5 comedians. Be honest with you, by name, I don't really know a lot of comedians by name, but I don't know about order. But of course, I would say, of course, you gotta throw Eddie Murphy in there. Gotta throw Dave Chappelle in there. You gotta throw Chris Tucker in there. Chris Tucker funny. I know I'm gonna forget somebody, and I'm just gonna be mad at this interview because on top of my head, this is hard. Who else? I think old Kevin Hart is funny. I don't think the new Kevin Hart, I don't know. But I remember, because I'm a short person, I remember I used to watch all his things, and I used to be able to relate with him on a lot of his stuff. So I'm going to put him on there. And for 5, I don't know. I know I'm missing some legends. I know I'm missing some. And I'm going to be mad because, like I said, I don't remember on the top of my head. I gotta put Chris Rock in there. I'm gonna pick Chris Rock at 5. You know what I'm saying? Everybody hates Chris. That was my show growing up.
Well, listeners out there, my list changed, but there's a certain few that stay in there. Number 1 is gonna always be Michael Collier, just because what this man has done for me as far as the comedic world has gone. Number 2,
I actually don't know who that is.
I'll send you his stand-up, and I'll send you when I did his morning show. Man is very very wise. He's been doing it for over 30 years. Michael Collier, Ali Sadiq, Dave Chappelle, Jerry Seinfeld, and Bernie Mac. This gonna change.
Oh, Bernie Mac. That's what I forgot too.
If anybody wanted to reach out to you or follow your message, how can they get in contact you? How can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Brother Aiden. I post mostly every day, and my DMs is always free. I respond to every direct message I get. And everybody that reposts my stuff and comments on it, I always get back to them. So you can always message me. I've gotten countless DMs of people that's been sharing me their whole life story of how they've been depressed and how my post has been helping with their depression and how it's making them work on themselves. So there's a lot of people that's already been reaching out to me. And if you feel comfortable, anyone that's out here watching that, if you feel comfortable, you can always reach out to me directly, and I will always get back to you. On Twitter, same thing. We're at Brother Aiden. You can also reach me on TikTok at Brother Aiden. And you can also reach me on my other account that I own, Original Thinkings. We have 120,000 followers on TikTok, but I still reach out. I still try to read every direct message on Instagram, Original Thinkings. And that's original as in ORIGINAL, and thinking as in the mind, but with a Z. You can reach me on there and DM me on Original Thinkings on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we also on Fanbase at Brother Aiden and Melanated People app on Brother Aiden. So you can always reach me on there, and I will respond to every message that I get. The ignorant and the intelligent. We're going to respond to all of them.
Definitely. You guys make sure that you follow me at wrongfunny_89 on Twitter and on Facebook. Not Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can also follow the podcast at No ID Podcast. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, rate, tell a friend about the No ID Podcast. Make sure you keep supporting this young brother on his journey and his mission to spread his message, spread the message about knowledge of oneself. Just reach out to him and support.
Thank you.
This man right here, Brother Aiden, is definitely a Black content creator. His message will be heard, and it shall be heard. And he said he was going to reply back to anything intelligent and ignorant. And I'm going to go ahead and say, for the record, I'm going to do the same thing as well too.
Yes, I would love to be back. Definitely, I'm always researching, and I would love to come back, share some information on the vaccines. I know our brother Riza Islam is doing that, and countless others, but he can't be the only brother doing it. So I would love to come back on here and share some information to our people that's life-saving and life-changing. If you ever get a chance, or if you ever want to invite me back, it's an excellent platform you got here, brother. And I really enjoy talking on here. And there's a lot more wisdom that I would love to share on another time.
You know what? And you will be back. You will be back. Because this right here, this is my 4th episode of the 5th season. We've been going hard. So this is probably episode 44 or 45 in the year. So yeah, you'll definitely be back. I do bring back guests. So we'll definitely bring you back. That's no question. Dang.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Reach out.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.